in baseball if they can. We're now joined by Brenda Van Lengen, color analyst, but also executive director, documentary on the history of women's basketball. If not for them, she joins us. She's been traveling. She's burning the midnight oil with what she's doing. And Nancy Lieberman, by the way, Brenda said hi and loves the project that you're doing. How much does today kind of also build into what you're doing? We're in the 50th anniversary of Title IX.
Well, hey, it's so nice to talk to you and be on the show. It's a big part of it. Women and girls really got opportunities in sports when Title IX was enacted. And there were a lot of women in this country, in different places around the country, but especially Texas, that had gotten opportunities in the 50s and 60s, and they knew what it was like to have the benefits of sports. And they wanted to help be leaders for all girls and women. And about that time, Title IX passed. And those women were the early leaders that really paved the way for what we have today. And that's what my docuseries is about, is collecting those stories. If not for them, we wouldn't have what we do today. And it's really fun to collect these stories and go around the country and talk to all these amazing people.
So where are you in the process now of the docuseries?
I'm producing it independently, and so I've had to raise money, and we've raised enough money to do all of the interviews that we want to do, which I have about 90 people targeted to interview. And we have raised enough money, and over the next 4 to 5 months, we'll finish all of our interviews around the country. And then my goal is to have a pilot episode available at next year's Women's Final Four in Dallas. And then after that, it depends on fundraising, but I think we should be able to do the 10-episode series sometime by late 2023.
Brenda, I went to 2 different schools in college that both were very high level in basketball. One at junior college in Tyler, and then at Stephen F. Austin when Sue Gunner was there. And, of course, they were very, very good, even during the days when Nancy Lieberman was at Old Dominion and Jody Conrad at Texas, and, of course, Pat Summitt, the great Pat Summitt at Tennessee. How much of Wayland Baptist or some of the schools now, Immaculata, Delta State, some of the smaller schools that are no longer able to compete or maybe even doing much, how much are they of the history of this as well?
And they're a huge part of the history. If people want to check out some of the people that we've interviewed and the promo video we have for this, I'd encourage them to go to ifnotforthem.com, and you'll see we've got a short promo video, 90 seconds, and then a 6.5-minute one for people that are more interested. But the Flying Queens of Wayland Baptist are a big part of that. We've been able to interview several Flying Queens, a couple of them that were part of the team that won 131 straight games. We've been to Immaculata, where they won the first 3 AIAW championships in the 70s. I've interviewed their coach and their star player. Even before that, Westchester, Pennsylvania hosted the first national championship that was an invitational tournament, but it was still the first college national invitational tournament in '69. And so I've interviewed a lot of those people, and if they aren't around anymore, people that played for them or those that knew them, and all of those names that you said before factor into the story.
Brenda, it's not often in someone's professional life that you get to kind of jump into kind of what you're for lack of a better term, a nerd about, and like really go in and get excited about the history of what you're doing. It's got to be kind of a trip to do all this.
It really is. It came about because I was talking to Marcia Sharp, the legendary coach at Texas Tech, about 5 years ago, and we were just discussing how so many of the great coaches were either retired or in their retired years, or Pat Summitt had just passed away at the time, and we're starting to lose some of those stories. And so she really inspired me to figure out a way that we could preserve them. And about 2 years ago, I when we were in COVID and I started realizing you could do Zoom interviews and interview people and record it, I started calling people, and just it started to grow and grow. And I realized that there were so many stories out there that have never been told or have been forgotten. And so because I've had such a great career broadcasting women's basketball for so many years, and just have been able to build a life, a profession out of basketball, and it's because of those people that paved the way for me. And so, this is a great thing. so awesome to be able to dedicate a few years to really doing this right in a really professional way and preserve and share those stories.
Brenda, as we mark the 50th anniversary of the implementation of Title IX, where do you think we are overall in terms of women in athletics opportunities and the future looking forward? It's obviously, I think we had Baylor AD Mac Rhodes on yesterday, said it's not a perfect system, but there's always tweaking and looking at what can change for the better. How do you just kind of view that right now in general?
I think we are in a great place in that if you look at the last 50 years, we've had so much growth in high school athletics, in college athletics, in professional sports. The WNBA has celebrated their 25th year. The NWSL is very popular. I live in Kansas City. The owners of the Kansas City Current are building the first women's soccer stadium solely for a women's professional soccer team. There's growth in so many areas. I've built a whole career out of broadcasting women's sports on television. So we've made so much progress, and there are areas that still need to be improved. I think, administrators still need to look at who surrounds them, who are the people making decisions, what can we do to make sure that both men and women have equitable resources all the way across an educational setting. I think there's still room for improvement, but boy, we've made so much progress. It's an exciting time, and I think the way people are investing in women right now, there's really exciting things to come.
I hope you don't mind me. Magic Johnson's sister was a star, was she not, at South Carolina back in the, I think, 1980, 1981?
I think that's right.
Yeah, they were a part of a team that upset my alma mater at Stephen F. Austin, who had Sue Gunner, and then had a star player named Rosie Walker.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Barbara Brown, who came out of Dallas South Oak Cliff, where Gary Blair was her coach at South Oak Cliff, who went on, of course, to just retire at Texas A&M. I love what you're doing. So are you just constantly on the road? Is a lot of this flying, or is a lot of it you driving to numerous places?
Well, the video production crew I'm working with, they have so much equipment that there's no way we can fly it. So they are driving all over the country. On some trips, I'm flying. On some trips, I'm driving. Right now, I'm just returning to Kansas City from a swing through Iowa and Illinois this past week. And, there's so much preparation getting ready for a trip that I can only do about 1 week or about, a 4-day week per month right now, because there's all the preparation, the research, the putting the questions together, the, legal agreements, all the stuff that goes with it, that I do about 1 week per month. And that's why I plan to do 1 week per month for the next 5 months to get all these done. And then we'll just start working on the editing and producing so that we can release a pilot episode in Dallas at the beginning of April.
You, of course, cover games, and you know how good Baylor was. Kim Mulkey now at LSU, and Nikki Collin with what she did her first year. If you don't mind, I saw her today at the baseball coach's introduction. The Dallas Wings and Indiana Fever, I think, may be playing tonight up in Dallas, and with Nalissa Smith and Queen Egbo on Indiana. Your thoughts about what Nikki did and now entering year 2?
It's always difficult to follow a legend, and there's no doubt that Kim Mulkey is a legend and continues to build on her legendary status. But I thought Nikki Collin came in and, implemented her style that she wanted to see and had great success. I know it was a disappointing end to the season, but a lot of success throughout. And I think bringing in other players that will continue to thrive there is something that Nikki does well. She's done well throughout her career, whether a WNBA coach or as an assistant coach through the years. She's a terrific coach with a great basketball mind. And I think people have reason to be very excited about the future. And boy, if I were in the Dallas area, I would go watch Nalissa Smith and Queen Egbo play some ball tonight. How exciting that they're on the same WNBA team.
Yep, the two post players that played basically one right hand, left hand. Brenda, we always appreciate getting you on. Great to see you whenever you come to the Farrell Center, or we've seen you at NCAA tournament games as well. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck And we'll put the link up. If not for them, we'll put that up again for those who are watching us on YouTube or listening to us on the radio.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate getting the word out about this project. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I really appreciate it.
Well, you deserve the attention. It's Brenda Van Lengen. Ifnotforthem.com is the website, and there's stories a little bit. And this is a huge project covering the history of women's basketball. Earlier, Nancy Lieberman, and now this is a documentary about the history of women's basketball, which in the 70s for some was, half court, 6-on-6, whatever it was, in certain places as well. On the